Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you some layer masking techniques, and I want to make sure that you fully understand how it works when using editing tools. It's same kind of idea works along with Photoshop, and this example I'm using today is Snapseed, and obviously the same would happen with Photopea. So in this image, you can see that it's edited. So if I show you on the arrow button at the top and then you go to view edits, you can see all my layers. So these boxes are called layers. So every time I make some kind of change, a layer would be created like this. When I click on it, you can see a bin tool, a layer mask tool, which is the brush at the middle, and the adjustment tool. The layer mask tool basically means it allows you to brush in areas that you want to show that filter that you've just created, which in this case, tune image. And it also allows you to unpaint areas that you don't want to show where the exposure has changed or that filter has been changed. So it's almost like a sheet of layer where you paint that sheet in and unpaint the areas of that sheet. So it just shows in sections you want to show as your image. Then the last box, you can see lots of lines. Basically, it takes you back to where you last left off when you was editing. So that's the best way to always edit when you're editing. Always use the original filter that you've used and just go back to refine it. So for instance, if I press the adjustment tool, which is the last one, it takes me back to where I've last left off in terms of the editing. So you can see some at different numbers, which shows that's where I left off. I would use tune image or portrait to show my layer masking techniques, but it's not really obvious on your screen. So what I'm going to do is do something a little bit more obvious so that you can see it. So I'm going to go to tools, select black and white. Obviously this will turn my image black and white. You can adjust this overall exposure. But this is a demo, so I'm just going to quickly go into layer mask. So go to arrow facing back, then go to view edits, and then select your layer mask tool, which is the middle button, and here you can see a row of options. Okay, now if you put your eye tool on, you can see it paints it in red. This basically tells you areas that you're currently painting and so forth. And it also allows you to know whether you've painted it in neatly. As you can see, it's gone outside my face. So in order to make this neater, you can take it down to 0 and just zoom in and just remove those edges like so. And obviously, the more zoomed in you are, the more harsh that outline is going to be, like so. And then if I press the eye tool off, you can see that it's basically painted one side of my face black and white and the other side is in color. So basically, using layer mask, it allows you to paint in areas that you want to show that filter, and it also allows you to unpaint areas you don't want to show that filter. So for instance, if I take it down to 0 opacity, it will unpaint that area where I don't want to show that filter. Okay, so let's take it back to 100. 100 is to paint in, and the reason why we use the eye tool is to make sure that it's nice and neat. So if it looks neat to me, so I'm going to keep it as it is. Like so. Here we go. Right, now that we've done that, so you press tick, and then I'm going to show you another example what you can use. Let's say you want to draw shapes in your layer mask and you want it to have color, or you want it to have a white background. You can definitely do that. So I'm just going to quickly do a double exposure button, add an image. Just going to choose a radiator photo. Make sure you take it to 100 on the opacity level. Press tick. Go back to view edits. Go to layer mask and zoom in. So I'm going to zoom in areas where I want to show those masks. You can even take the eye tool off if you want to see it as it is. And then all you're going to do, I'm just creating patterns using the dots techniques. There are some photographer artists that you might be responding to where you need to create these sort of patterns like so. You can use your 2 fingers hold down to move across the page or the canvas itself, in other words. And I'm just drawing lots of wrinkles around me like this. And then you can even zoom out by using your fingers, and then you can see the difference it makes on your drawing. Okay. You can even, as you know, it's a radiator, you can even paint in sections of the radiator by taking it back to 100, and you can even see that I'm painting in some of the sections of the radiator like so. So if you want it to be in your image like this, then obviously that's something you might want to use. And I'm just going to make my brush a little bit thinner, like this. Sometimes it might help to just zoom in to create thinner brush marks. Okay. So this gives you an idea, and you can even see those marks around my eyes, which is where I was drawing earlier on. You can use other kind of photos to add that in. So that was double exposure. What else is there? You can use curves. So go to curves, go to the second icon from the left, choose any of the color red, green or blue. I'm just going to choose blue for now. If you go high, the more saturated it's going to be. And I'm going to aim for something quite saturated. And if I press tick, I can then go to layer mask again. And again, paint in areas that I might want to have it in blue. And yeah, it gives you a quick example of how it works. You can even do that thing when I was drawing it earlier on. I can just draw the dots to create that shape. Like so. Just to give you an idea. And then you can actually see that, what I've done there. You can even make it more prominent. You can actually make a line drawing. So making it look a little bit more luminous, if you like. And again, that might be something you want to include. Or could it be some kind of ring around it like this? As you can see, I'm just showing you what I'm drawing. So I'm just going to turn it red and then turn it off. And then it shows those details like that. So yeah, when you're using layer mask, try to do some drawing technique and refining the edges. Use different kind of filters like this to create impact to your photo. Yeah, and that's pretty much it about layer mask, and I hope that helps you with your editing processes. Okay.